Well, today it was going to be Manchester, but yet again, it's Bedford. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Eugene Matthias. If this is your first time here, thanks for dropping by, and hopefully you'll find these videos that I do of use and help to you. Today, the question is going to be, can street photography be dangerous? I describe street photography as an exciting and as a dynamic art form. It captures the raw essence of everyday life. To me, it's about freezing fleeting moments, expressions, interactions, and telling compelling stories. Now, I must say, however spontaneous and rewarding as street photography can be, it does have potential risks. And these are what I'm just going to talk about today. I'm going to break these down into points. And point number one is legal, ethical concerns. And one of the biggest challenges that street photographers face is navigating the privacy law and ethical considerations. And this is something that we should take very seriously. In many countries, taking photos in public spaces is legally permissible, but that doesn't mean to say that everybody welcomes having their picture taken. Some individuals may feel uncomfortable, even confrontational, if they notice you taking their photo without their consent. I always smile, I nod, I thank them, I give them a thumbs up if they do happen to notice me doing this. But it's also important to remember that in certain locations, photography of government buildings, military zones, or private properties, this can lead to legal trouble. Now, the best advice that I could give is it's always wise to research the laws of the area that you're shooting in, especially if you're going to be traveling internationally. So now we come to point number two, and I actually have classed this as a really important point: personal safety risks. Shooting in unfamiliar, especially high crime areas, can expose street photographies to potential dangers. Holding expensive camera gear in public certainly makes you a target for theft. My camera, it is not an expensive camera that I use, and certainly the lenses are very cheap lenses. In fact, you must probably be quite surprised at the lenses that I do use for my street photography. Now, the final thing that I'd like to say on this point is I think that photographers who immerse themselves too deeply into taking a photograph, on the focusing on composition, the lighting, the subjects, you might be opening yourself up to problems. Becoming oblivious to your surroundings, um, you know, you become vulnerable to accidents, to pickpockets, and even physical confrontation. So just think about that. So now we move on to point number three: hostile reactions from strangers. We've got to appreciate that not everybody wants to have their photo taken. Some people may react aggressively, particularly if they feel that their privacy is being invaded. Some street photographers have reported incidents where individuals have shouted at them. I suppose, yeah, I've had maybe three, I wouldn't even call them shouts, but I've had three people who certainly were not happy with me taking their photographs. Some people, they might demand that the images are deleted, or in extreme cases, they could actually attempt to grab your camera. I think getting a book on body language and reading and understanding body language will really help you. Be respectful. And then, if you understand body language, you can see exactly how the person is feeling because of their body language. It can also help to diffuse tension. A friendly nod or a smile can sometimes just reassure people that maybe you want to take a photo of them. You can smile, give them a thumbs up, point to the camera. A friendly nod. Um, all of this is so important. But if somebody is clearly uncomfortable, it's best just to simply move on. So let's look at number four. I've, I call this confrontations with law enforcements. Now, photography is generally legal in public places. Some security personnel or police officers, they might not be up to date with the rules regarding photography and what we can and can't do. I understand that there have been instances where photographers were questioned, even detained for taking pictures in areas deemed as sensitive, even if they were well within their legal rights. And to avoid unnecessary trouble, I would suggest the first thing to do is to stay calm. Make sure you know your rights. This is really, really important. And politely explain your purpose if you are asked questions. And carry a small printed copy of local photography laws. I always do, it's in my bag because this can really help you a lot. So let's talk about number five, night photography and the risks of night photography. Shooting in the dark at night in cities. There is another layer of risk there. Dimly lit streets. There are, far fewer people around, and I suppose generally the unpredictability of the night uh, really does make photographers more vulnerable to crime. If you enjoy street photography at night, I personally would suggest bring a friend. Both of you together enjoy it together. Keep your gear to the absolute minimal and really, really be extra cautious about your surroundings. And the final point really is how to stay safe while doing street photography. Be aware of your surroundings is the first thing that I would suggest. Keep an eye on people, traffic, and any potential risks. Once you get into the zone with street photography, you really lose track of what's going on around you, time. Well, that's what happens with me anyway. If you don't feel confident, use a small camera. One of the cameras I take out is a 15-year-old Canon G10 that just fits into my pockets. You're less conspicuous. You draw less attention to yourself. One of the most important things that I would suggest is dressing casually. Avoid flashy clothing or anything that signals that you've got expensive gear there. As I said earlier on, minimal equipment. The less you carry, the less you have to worry about at the end of the day. And again, know your rights, understanding local photography laws that manages to avoid unnecessary confrontations. I suppose the advice that I would give you is trust your instinct. If a place or situation feels unsafe, simply move on. So my final thoughts. Street photography can be an incredible way to document life. That is what I do. I document street life and portraiture, but it does have its risks. Understanding potential dangers and taking precautions can help keep you safe while allowing you to focus on capturing really great shots. The key is to balance the spontaneity with awareness. Be bold, but also at the same time, be mindful. So I'd like to ask you to do something for me. I'd like you to share your street stories. Um, what has happened to you? What was the problem? How did you manage to get out of it? If there was a situation, can I ask you please share these in the comments below with everybody in our community? Thanks for listening.